Hello everybody. So I have these two hives over here. They are out in the middle of the woods, nowhere near the rest of my hives, and they do great. They've been out here for maybe 6, 7 years, and I have no interference with them except the occasional oxalic acid vapor treatment. So very little treatment for mites and very little interference. I don't usually pull frames or do anything to them at all. And I've decided that since they do so well, it's time to try to get some more hives off of them. Now, normally I would just split the hives, but I got a feeling that they might be honey bound since I've never actually harvested honey from them. My guess is the top box on both of these are going to be completely packed with honey, and there's only going to be few frames in the bottom that the queen can even lay any brood in at this point. So that's what I'm counting on anyways. Hopefully I'm accurate. And I'm just going to take some nuke boxes and I'm going to try to make some nukes off of them and find some eggs that I can either leave in the hive or transfer to the nuke boxes so they can make a new queen in one or the other. And then if I can make one nuke box off of each, I can have two more hives to have setting out here in the woods or to transfer up to my regular bee yard. And I know that these bees that I split from this are going to have really good genetics, and they always make it through the winter, and like I said, very little for mite treatments. So I'm hoping this works out. I'm going to get at it and suit up, and I'm going to see what's happening. Okay, I'm going to start with this hive here first, and I'm going to get into the very top and see what I've got going on in here. Now, these hives have not been opened since last August, probably. And you can tell because my old Apigard tray is still in here from my fall treatment last year. And yeah, you can see all the honey built up on top here because I never took the rim feeder off. And this box is packed full of bees and what is now a dead hive beetle. Super. But the bees themselves look good, and look how calm they are. So it's going to be hard for me to take any of these frames out, but I can tell just by looking down in here, these are all honey frames. So I need to get this box off so I can get down to the next box. Okay, let's see what's going on. There seems to be bees all down in here, but the majority of the activity is over on this half. I'm looking for the frame that I think I can pop out the easiest here. Okay. So there is no honey on that side. There's quite a bit of nectar on this side, all up in here. But there's a lot of comb that's drawn with nothing in it. No eggs and no honey, no nectar. A lot of times people say the queen is not on this first frame, but I find that to not always be true. And it'd be great to be able to find the queen here. A lot of drawn out comb with some capped over honey all along here. I drew this frame out funny. When you see a frame like this, that means that this plastic foundation was not coated in wax very well. Now both of these hives threw a huge swarm earlier this spring at the exact same time. It was just massive, the amount of bees that took off. They both joined into one huge massive swarm instead of two individuals. And it was just incredible watching that number of bees soaring up above me while I was out here. I can see some brood on this frame, so hopefully this one has hatched out brood for sure. Little bit of capped over brood here. What I need is eggs. Before I can put a nuke box together, I've got to see what I've got left and available to put back in here. Okay, so this frame has eggs and larvae in it. Got some drone brood here. What I need is a queen. Yeah, here's a good frame of brood. Lots and lots of pollen. Okay, so now I know what I have. I'm gonna make a nuke. Like, this brood is super dark. It's gonna be hatching out any day now. And that's going to give me fresh bees in this box that are gonna turn out to be nurse bees really quick, but they're also not going to know any other box except this nuke box. So they're not going to be tempted to fly back to their home hive or anything like that. They're going to hatch out, and they're going to know that this nuke box is their one and only home for now. So I actually want to put the eggs against that brood that the bees have to keep warm. I think I'm going to take this frame of pollen, because there's a ton of bees on it. Look at all the bees here. I'm going to take this frame of nectar and honey. Two reasons. One is there's a bunch of bees. The other is they got room to grow if they're so inclined. And if they don't, at least they have a food source. And it's something to keep them warm. And just in case those bees think they need something to do, the other frame's going to be blank foundation. There's no point in me putting a pre-drawn foundation frame in there because there's no queen to lay in it, and they've got plenty of extra space to store some honey if that's what they decide to do with that space. Got one last thing that I'm going to do to this box before I close it up. That's I'm going to take this other frame. There's quite a few bees on the bottom here. I'm not going to be shaking off any eggs or anything. I'm going to grab the frame like so, and I'm just going to shake it to get some extra bees in this box. It takes a lot of bees to make a queen. Some of these are worker bees that will fly out. Some of these are going to be nurse bees, but I need a lot of bees in here in order for them to make a queen. Okay, we are going to get into this second hive that I have out here in the middle of the thicket, and I'm going to try to make a nuke box off of this because, again, they're great bees. They've survived forever without any interference, so I'm going to see what I can do here. I got some ants in this one. Brush them off. Doesn't have to be great. I got the same situation here. They drew out some honeycomb up in the feeder rim. I've got my Apigard tray from last year because this is the first time I've been in these hives since pretty much a year ago. You can take this top box right off. I can break it free. It looks like it's full of honey. Yeah, she's heavy. Dang. Right off the bat here, I can see that this hive is fixing to swarm right there. And the bees are tending to a larva in there. They've got another queen cup up here in a couple different spots. So these bees are already working on a new queen. I might be able to work this to my advantage. Oh man, this is just a good brood frame. Look at all of that capped over brood. Same thing over here. I'm looking really thoroughly for the queen. I don't think she's on this. I don't see any queen cells on here. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in my nuke box. You can already see more drone brood, just more everything, more eggs, more larvae. Lots of bees, no queen. How about here? Same thing, a ton of brood. Not seeing the queen on here. But I'm going to take it for my nuke box. Okay, so this one here has the queen cell on it. Sorry, bees. I'm gonna get rid of this. You'll recover. Okay, give them some smoke here. I'm gonna scrape off one more. And I'm gonna start a couple frames over so I don't damage that queen cell. Oh, look at that honey. That is a heck of a honey frame. Almost completely filled out. Same thing over on this side. I'm all twisted awkward. But that's a good honey frame. Gotta set it off to the side here. What's in here on this side? Pollen and honey. That might be a good frame to take for this nuke box. We'll see. I'm not taking it yet. This is what I want. Let's see what we get going here. We've got a lot of eggs, a lot of pollen, one very nice queen cell, not capped over yet, because now that I'm taking a queen cell, I cannot take the queen for this nuke. If I did take that queen, once that queen cell hatches, she might swarm, and I'm not going to have enough bees in a little nuke box to handle a swarm. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make this a super strong nuke. And I can put it in another 10 frame soon. Okay, I'm going to give them one frame of blank foundation to work on drawing out while that queen hatches and gets mated. And the last nuke over here, I shook some bees in. This has so much brood that's about to hatch, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna let that brood hatch and take over on its own. Gonna cover this up. And since neither of these have a queen, I stand a brick up. My method is a standing brick is no queen or queen cell, queen cup. A brick laying down. that's a hive that has a queen in it, or a box that has a queen. A brick laying sideways needs some extra attention, whether that be it's queenless and needs some extra brood added, or has laying workers. That one's bad. Right now, we are at this stage. And I'm gonna leave these sit for a couple weeks, and then we'll come back.